Okay, so I wanted to show you a little bit about Firefly from Adobe. Now, to access this, there's a couple steps. So if you do not have access to the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, you can connect with Kyle or others in IT. We do have a license. This is how I have access to it. So this has everything from Photoshop to InDesign to After Effects and all those cool programs that run the gamut of everything from video design, video editing, to graphic design, Photoshop, kind of the classic stuff. To get access to the beta, what you'll need to do is Google Adobe Firefly Beta, and eventually, who knows, maybe after this video comes out, it will be part of the suite that you can access free on campus as faculty or staff. But if you're doing this in May of 2023 as the date of when I'm recording this, you'll have to go online, Google Firefly Adobe Beta. You sign up for it. There's a waiting process like there happens to be for a lot of these AI tools. Eventually you'll get access to Firefly. It's super cool. So there are currently 3 tools. I can imagine only that they will continue to add more tools to it. I really love the fact that, they're thinking about extending image technologies, 3D to image, text to pattern, text to template, sketch to image. So you could turn simple drawings like your art students into an actual image. If it says in exploration, it means they're working on these. I'm definitely going to be using these when these come out. I use AI tools literally on a daily basis for professional and also music and image stuff I do in my outside of work life. So you can do vector graphics here. I'm not going to really do that one. I don't use that. I have messed around with the text effects. So what's cool about this is, and let me just move there we go. So you're going to do 2 things. You're going to enter a text here. So for example, I could type LTCC, coyotes, and then here I can give it specific prompts of what I want it to create the letters out of. So this is a super innovative typography type tool that's going to create custom logos that are actually designed in such a way that they have transparent backgrounds, and you can use in anything from web design to Canva to a Canvas page. It's super cool. So create your own custom logos. You could do this in conjunction with creating a brand by creating this cool text. So what I want to say is make the letters look like the blue waters of Lake Tahoe. Okay, so I'm going to try to theme it very specific to our local environment. Once you get to this page, I really recommend you mess around with the effects here, the text effects, and also the font. And anytime if you don't like the font, all you have to do is change it. So if I don't particularly like this one, I'll try a different font. This is going to be all caps. I can change the text color, the background color, customize as I would be able to do like in PowerPoint, in any other design program, even Microsoft Word. What you see here is pretty cool. And again, if you're not familiar with this, it is really taking something and transforming it in a way that I've never seen this done before. So it's that revolutionary in terms of what it does. Just going to blow it up here a little bit. By the way, in the beta format for the images and for these typefaces that are designed, you're going to notice that it is always going to have a watermark here. You could talk to me about removing that watermark. It's pretty easy to do, or just deal with it until maybe they have it as part of our suite. So as I'm looking at this, it definitely does kind of connote waters. I don't know if immediately that to me looks like, maybe that's supposed to be waves or something. But what's cool about this is you can go back and redo it and do it as something else. So I'm going to type in LTCC coyotes. And I'm just going to see, I'm going to say the text should look like baby and adult coyotes playing. Again, I don't know. Like you can literally put anything. If you look at the samples here, it shows you that popcorn, you could type anything in and it's going to do what you ask it to do. And for all the people out there, by the way, just on social media that say things like AI is not transformative, AI is not coming, AI is not scary, etc. I don't think they've really messed with this stuff, because if you get into what this involves, just from the standpoint of creating these generative images from scratch in a matter of seconds, it is, I always say it's as significant as walking on the moon, the Gutenberg press, you name it, any of those inventions and technologies, it's absolutely there. So if I want to change the text effects and all that, I could do that. let me, as I've done before, I'm going to download it and see what that looks like as an actual image, and I can blow it up for you because I just find it a little hard to see if we don't blow it up. And it kind of looks like coyotes. It sure does. There are these weird images here. They almost look like letters. That looks like a wolf, maybe. Some of these might be wolves versus coyotes. There's some babies. Again, I don't know what that represents. Sometimes you find that's pretty cool there. I mean, it's definitely something you could use. I mean, there's usable stuff here. I mean, this is pretty cool. They look like they're playing, and that's the O, and then the Y, another O, and you just kind of see like it's super creative and how it does things. And if you don't like it, you can click on, they'll give you 4 versions, just like what the graphic program is showing in a second. They'll give you 4 images, and you could, mess with those. So again, this shows you different versions of the same thing. So I think that's super cool. That's called their text effects program. And I think it's just phenomenal. And I've been using it and just kind of trying it out and experimenting. And again, with all these free tools, I encourage you just to use them and try them out and pilot them, because you're not going to hurt anything or damage anything. They're free to use. Next, you can try text to image. This one is super, super cool. And by the way, for any of this, if you want more information about prompts, if you want to learn about artistic styles, how to apply those to your prompts that you write to any of these or other AI programs, watch those videos because I have a lot more information. It might be great for art or graphic design students. So I'm going to say here, and I actually got inspired by this, a toy photographer on the sidelines of a soccer field. So what I can do is type toy photographer on the banks of Lake Tahoe. And I'm not going to say much more than that. I'm not going to give it a style kind of direction. I'm just going to see what the heck will it generate, because I can always go back and redo and transform this with a different prompt. Now, it is important when you get into this, if you want to adjust your aspect ratio 4:3, the old TV style, like shows from the 80s versus and 90s versus those today, I can go back to widescreen. And this is what I typically use in my class graphics and so forth. That first round of images, by the way, looked a little odd, but let's see. These look like, does that kind of look like a Bratz doll? I don't know if I really like that. Toy photographer. What if I just put photographer? And this will show you kind of how much it's going to change. And by the way, I have art in here, so you can see some of these look almost like oil paintings or watercolors. I can change it right here to photo. And again, I took out toy just to see what that prompt is going to say. Just to see what it's going to look like now. And so now this looks more like humans. Positive in terms of the diversity. So we have a diversity of ethnicities here. Again, whether or not you get a satisfiable image with people, sometimes the hands and faces are a little wonky on AI, but I think some of these are quite usable. So literally right here, you could take this image of someone who is shooting a photograph on what looks to be Lake Tahoe and use that in one of your classes as a stock graphic. You can customize this so much that you could almost see this as possibly valuable, not just as stock imagery for your class, but for instruction. Like if you wanted to show something like a particular lab procedure or a process that involved multiple steps, you could do that over a series of photographs. What you would do to do that is you would just continue to transform your prompt here. You can clear the style at any point and come up with something new. I can turn this into a graphic. These styles here are kind of fun. So you could look at some of the more popular styles like a layered paper. And once you do that, hit generate again, and it's going to transform it based on that stylistic prompt that you've given it. And down here, you could further customize the composition, shot from above, wide angle, macro photography. You can do the color and tone and also the lighting, which is pretty cool. We'll try that in a second. And these are quite different. Again, very diverse in terms of the ethnicity. And some of these are quite good. Like I think that's a really cool image. You could see how it had created it with that particular stylistic usage. Additional images here. Again, they all look like Lake Tahoe. That one's pretty cool. You could see that almost as a banner image for your photography class. You know, it's a way to kind of instantly transform your class. If you want to download, just click that right download button. Up here, you can copy it to a clipboard and so forth. So let's try this again and let's mess around with it a little bit. Let's change the color and tone I want it more vibrant. Maybe these are a little dull. These are a little too much teal and orange. So I'm going to make a vibrant color. I'm going to do lighting. I want to do something dramatic. I like that. Or low lighting. I'll just do dramatic. And then composition, I want to do shot from above. I don't know what that's even going to look like. So let's click shot from above and hit generate. So you can see all the conditions of my photo, of my graphic, appear on the bottom here. Anytime you don't want any of those, just click that X and then it takes it away. You can always go back to this here and re-choose things. So yeah, it looks like it got a few things right. The color looks a little more vibrant, I would say, in this image. And the lighting is fairly dramatic. You get kind of some interesting shadowing effects here. And some, I don't know if those are bokehs or if those are more like glares from the sun. I wouldn't say it's necessarily shot from above. I don't know exactly if that is what it's done. Let's try macro photography. So that's going to be maybe a close-up. Did it take shot from above away? Indeed it did. And I'll take away dramatic lighting to, let's see, low lighting. I'm kind of curious about that. And from vibrant color, let's go to pastel color. Okay, you always have to hit generate and then it will do the next steps for you here and generate 4 more images. By the way, again, this is in beta. It's part of our Adobe subscription, so you get free access. You do have to get the Adobe suite put onto your computer from IT. It takes, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. They're great about doing that. And then you'll be able to sign up for the beta and have access. So it still kind of didn't do it. It didn't do the macro photography. It maybe because it has a photographer here. So what if I try to take out, I'm going to put rock on the banks of Lake Tahoe, because I'm thinking maybe then it's going to do a macro shot, a close-up shot of that rock. And I'm going to take out layered paper. I don't want layered paper anymore. And let's just try that. We're going to take the photographer out of it to see if we can, again, hone in on what we want. So this iterative process of using ChatGPT for tech stuff or Adobe or other products for photos and graphics is iterative. So you always got to go back and transform and change. And these are darn good. Look at that. Wow. I'm just impressed with what is created here. So I'm going to download these because I can tell you right now, I can use these in a newsletter. I can use this in a class photo. I can use an announcement. I mean, look how remarkable this one image is. And again, for those naysayers out there who say, this is not amazing, they have no idea what's going on here, because this is phenomenal that it can do this in a matter of seconds. So again, I can use any of these images, download them. It will put a watermark on these just to see what that looks like. You'll get the image here. It comes back as a JPEG, and currently that's all that it spits out, but it's pretty good quality, so it's 2 megs. It's definitely good enough for most of your graphic purposes. It does have the logo down here. There are ways to just do a screenshot and take that out, or you can leave that in if you want to leave the attribution. And I will say, I think a lot of this is cool to use for your class projects. You're not doing commercial use, as you can see here, image not for commercial use. So typically that would not apply to us because we're not in a business and it doesn't have a commercial context. So that's a little bit about Adobe Firefly. It's the new AI program that you do have access to. You have to take a few steps as I described in this video, but I hope you get a chance to check it out because I think it's one of the coolest programs out there right now, free to use and produces some of the best results I've seen in terms of both logo, typefaces, and also graphic design elements.